Welcome to Chase Talks. My name's Chase, and today I am bringing you the fabled return of the Gary Southshore Raikous. And your Gary Southshore Raikous are going to be playing in the SAPL. The SAPL was actually a league that I am the commissioner of, and we're in the SAPL Moon Conference. Now, last season, this is the fourth season. Last season, we made it to the semifinals of our conference. It's a lot like American football, to where there's two different conferences. The winner of both conferences ends up playing each other in the actual big finals. So there's an SMC, a SAPL Moon Conference finals, and then there's an SAPL Sun Conference finals. The winner of the Moon Conference and the winner of the Sun Conference play each other in the SAPL finals. So, with no further ado, I am going to jump into our team builder. As always, link in the description to skip by the team builder and go directly into the battle. But if you want to see what I'm bringing, why I'm bringing it, and an overview of my team and my opponent's team, don't click away. But other than that, click the timestamp in the description and it will bypass you straight into the battle. Now, the first Pokemon that we drafted was Mega Tyranitar. I was going straight for the sand. I paired it with an Excadrill, so we have a good strong sand combo. Mega Tyranitar also first season that it is actually Mega Tier 2 or S Tier 2. We actually don't have a Mega Tier, we have an S Tier, so you'll see that some people do not have a Mega when I battle them. I also got Tangrowth and a Lilomola for that Regenerator Core. Primarina, just in case I don't want to bring a Lilomola, or if I want to bring both. Primarina is just such a strong fairy type, it can put down so much pressure. I love Primarina. I also decided to grab Lycanroc Dusk. I know it gives me a second rock type, but I really was excited to use Lycanroc Dusk. It gets Tough Claws, it has decent coverage. I was actually just excited to see how well it would do. And Accelerock with Tough Claws is just such a strong priority, so I'm going to be excited to actually see what I can do with it. I drafted Regular Rotom as our Tier 5. Regular Rotom gets Defog now. It also gets access to screens. It gets... it's Ghost type, so it gets strong Shadow Ball. It just gives a lot of different things. There's a lot of cool things you can do with it. It's also cool for a Volt Turn. I really like Rotom a lot. I don't really have good U-Turn to match it with. I actually don't have any U-Turn to match it with. But I at least have the Volt switch half of the U-Turn, so it gives me at least a little bit of priority there. I also drafted Entei, which is just a super strong fire type. He also gets good priority and extreme speed. Sacred Fire is awesome. It has a 50% chance to burn. It also gets access to, of course, a strong Flare Blitz. It gets Bulldoze, Stone Edge. There's just so many good things that Entei can do, and I really like that Pokemon. And excited to use it. This is the first time I haven't drafted Victini in a while. I love Victini. I've talked about it a lot in my recent videos how much Victini is my favorite Pokemon, and I've used it on 2 of my recent Chase's Bad at OU teams. But I decided not to go for Victini. Victini actually got sniped from me. I was thinking about drafting it, but after it got sniped, I was able to pick up Latios, which Latios is just such a strong dragon type. It is a psychic type as well, to pair with our second psychic type, which is Glade. Now, I really want to draft Mienshao. I do have 40 extra points, so I might end up swapping out Glade at some point. Glade is a psychic fighting type. It actually is pretty strong. The only thing I really don't like about it is its speed tier. It's got an 88 base speed. It's not just slow. It hits really hard, but it's just slow. And then Leavanny, which sets webs. Now, if I compare these webs with Glade or with Primarina or anything else like that, Leavanny will pick up the momentum on my team. It also gets Baton Pass for momentum. It'll really set my team off to a strong part, and it really helps with the webs for Mega Tyranitar. So I'm happy that I ended up getting Leavanny, and we'll see how good it can do in the future. Now, my opponent's team, run down his team really quick. I'm facing off against the Malmö Mamoswines. He drafted Megalatios, Volcanion, Mamoswine, Cobalion, Greninja Torrent, Milotic, Dusknoir, Florges, Crobat, Zebstrika, and Serena. Now, just looking at this team, so a couple things that I was really worried about. I was worried about the Greninja Torrent. Even though it's only Torrent, Greninja can put down a lot of pressure. Mamoswine also has the ability to put down a lot of pressure against my team. Ice-type stab is really good. It also gets access to Freeze Dry for my 2 water types. So Mamoswine was definitely a Pokemon that I was looking at closely, and it's actually his franchise pick. It's the same pick that he used last season. I don't have a franchise pick on my team. I didn't say that, but I franchised Victini the previous season, so I couldn't franchise it again, so I opted not to franchise. Megalatios is also a very strong pick on his team. It's a pick that I was very afraid of. I actually didn't want it to be unbanned. This is the first season that it's unbanned, but it ended up being unbanned, so we'll end up seeing how strong it can actually be. Volcanion is also a very strong fire-water type. It's a very unique typing, and it does add a little bit of electric weakness to his team, having both his water type that's weak to electric and his fire type being weak to electric. But it does have a strong combo, and Zebstrika does kind of help cure up that electric type weakness, and Mamoswine, of course, too. So that's what I was really thinking about going into this battle. Miltank also has the ability to be strong, and Florges is an ever strong tank. Now those were kind of the things that stuck out to me. Of course he has other good Pokemon on his team. I don't want to go why every Pokemon's good on his team, but he does have a very strong drafted team. I liked his team a lot going into the team builder. And the first Pokemon that I decided to bring against him was our Vicious, which is our Mega Tyranitar. With the Tyranitar Knight, of course, Sandstream is its ability before it Mega Evolves and after it Mega Evolves. Stone Edge, Crunch, Iron Head, and Dragon Dance. I decided to go for a more setup set. Kind of like the Salamence videos, if you had watched any of my old Salamence videos when I was playing in the WTF before that league ended. 252 in attack, 252 in speed, with a jolly nature. This is just kind of outspeed everything on his team. Once I get a Dragon Dance, the main purpose of Tyranitar is to set the sand for our Excadrill, which you're going to see in a second, but you can already see Pooh Bear on our spoiler bar. And then just kind of put down pressure with Iron Head, Crunch, and Stone Edge. At +1, I believe it KOs Florges with an Iron Head. I don't exactly remember that calc, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. I'll have to check the calc again before the battle. And the next Pokemon on this team, like I was alluding to before, is our Pooh Bear Excadrill. I decided to run it with a Life Orb. We do not have Z Captain, so I can actually put a Z move on any Pokemon. So rather than opting for a Z move this week, I did decide to run a Life Orb for the extra damage. Sand Rush is its ability to give it that ×2 speed in the sand. I did go 252 Adamant Nature with a 252 in speed, so I opted for Adamant instead of Jolly because when my speed is +2, I am going to outspeed everything on his team. Then I opted for 252 rather than going to a lower speed tier because I wanted to be able to outspeed any Scarfers on his team, and I wanted to just outspeed as much as I could if I'm not in the sand for any reason. Earthquake, give good ground stab. Iron Head, give it steel stab, and then Rock Slide. Rock Slide was mainly there for his Crobat. This was kind of going to be my main answer to Crobat, getting that Rock Slide to get it and making it so Crobat cannot deny a sweep with the inability to actually do good damage against it. The next Pokemon on this team I decided to bring was our Siren, which is our Primarina with a Choice Specs. Torrent is its ability, of course, because its hidden ability is not released. Sparkling Aria, the reason that I decided to bring this, though it does not pair well with Sacred Fire Burns, because it does cure the target's burn, but it has the ability to hit through substitutes, and that's the main reason why I decided to bring it. I didn't want him to set up a cross substitute on like his Mamoswine or his Latias or his what else is Crobat? So I really didn't want him to get a substitute up on any of that, so Sparkling Aria would allow me to hit those Pokemon through the substitute. Moonblast, Shadow Ball, and Ice Beam as its other coverage with the Choice Specs. I mean, a Choice Specs Moonblast, nothing really wants to switch into that. Even a Choice Specs Sparkling Aria, that does as much damage as like a Choice Specs Surf. So nobody wants to switch into that, especially when it's 252 special attack with a modest nature. 84 speed points, so I can just outspeed like his tanks. I didn't want to get outsped by his walls, so I wanted to make sure I outsped all of his walls that I could when they don't have speed investment. And I think that also actually outspeeds Miltank with no speed. I'd have to double check that, but I think I might have done Miltank without speed investment, or Miltank might have been too fast, so I might not have done Miltank. But I definitely did like Florges, things like that without speed investment. I definitely hit to outspeed them. The next Pokemon on this team that we are bringing is our Han Solo, which is our Latios with a Choice Scarf. Choice Scarf mainly to outspeed his Mega Latios. I am the same speed tier as Mega Latios, and I know that it can't be Scarfed because it's a Mega, so I'd have the ability to outspeed it and kill it right away with the Draco Meteor. Draco Meteor does one-shot Mega Latios if he decides to bring it. Psyshock, Thunderbolt, and Shadow Ball just for added coverage. Thunderbolt for that weakness, what I was talking about. It hits Volcanion and it hits his Greninja, so it gives me coverage for both those Pokemon. Shadow Ball is just a good all-around coverage. It also hits Dusknoir, and Psyshock just to hit more especially defensive walls for super effective damage. Like if he brings a specially defensive Florges rather than a physically defensive Florges, Psyshock would allow me to hit that for good damage. Now I did have to run 252 speed with the Timid Nature. The reason I ran Timid Nature was just in case my Choice Scarf gets removed and I do not get killed by like a knockoff or something. If I lose my Choice Scarf for any reason, I wanted the ability to still at least speed tie Mega Latios. I didn't want to get outsped by Mega Latios, though if Latios does get hit by a knockoff, it most likely dies. 252 a special attack. I almost said speed again. 252 special attack with 4 points in special defense. I'm really excited to use Latios. Latios can definitely put down a lot of pressure. Though it's so fast, it kind of it makes me sad that I have to run a Choice Scarf for this week. But I really have to because it's just my only real way of dealing with the Mega Latios. The next Pokemon on this team is our Ozai, our Fire Lord Ozai, with the Choice Band, Sacred Fire, Iron Head, Extreme Speed, and Stone Edge. Now, a Choice Band is Stone Edge, of course, kills Crobat. A Choice Banded Iron Head, 2-hit KOs Florges. A Choice Banded Sacred Fire hits anything on his team for a huge amount of damage, and nothing really wants to take a Choice Banded Extreme Speed. So Ozai definitely has a lot of pressure, or definitely has the ability to put down a lot of pressure this game, and especially with the 252 Adamant Nature, 168, or 196, oh man, not 198. He has a lot of strong, slow walls, and I really want to outspeed as much as I can, and I don't want Ozai to take unnecessary damage, and that's the main reason why I put so much speed investment in it. I did put 52 points in HP with 4 points in defense, 4 points in special defense. It's going to make Ozai a little bit bulky, and it can put down a lot of really strong pressure, so I'm excited to see how Ozai can actually do in this match. The last Pokemon on this team is half of our Regenerator core. I only decided to bring one of our Regenerator Pokemon. I just didn't think Tangrowth had that good of a matchup, especially with the ability of Crobat, just Brave Bird on his face. I think it threatened Tangrowth enough to just not bring it, and also Volcanion threatened it a lot. So between those two Pokemon, I think it threatened Tangrowth enough to just opt to not bring it. You don't see Brave Bird spam on a lot of teams, and when I do see Brave Bird spam, I really don't want to bring our Tangrowth. But hopping into our Purple Ranger, which is our Alomomola with the Rocky Helmet, Regenerator is its ability. Scald, Toxic Wish, Protect. This is Taunt bait, but unless he brings Taunt in one of his abilities, this Pokemon just has the ability to live forever, especially with the Rocky Helmet. 244 in HP, 252 in defense, with 12 points in special defense. This thing is just bulk on top of bulk, and it will live forever. If I lose one of my Pokemon, that is a win condition against other Pokemon, like the Han Solo, for example, my normal Latios, or my Entei or my Excadrill. I might just be left with no other option than to kill stuff with a Alomomola. So that's really why to Toxic them and kind of try and live as long as I can with a Alomomola. So this is kind of my fallback win condition. If everything else fails, then Alomomola is going to be the Pokemon that soars us into victory, flies out of the water and soars us into victory. Alright, I'm going to cut until we're in the battle. Now hopping into the battle, looking at his team screen, he decided not to bring the Greninja or the Mega Latios. So that was two big threats that I was super worried about going into this match that are just taken off the board completely. That was really good when I was looking at his team screen. I felt really good about this game looking into the team screen. And going in for a lead option, I was trying to decide what exactly I should lead. I was kind of going back and forth between Entei and Latios, but I really thought he was going to lead Crobat or he was going to lead Miltank. Now, with him leading Crobat or Miltank, if I lead Latios, I have the ability to put down a lot of pressure on both of them. I really don't want to take a Brave Bird, because I thought it could be banded. I don't want to take a banded Brave Bird from a Crobat on my Entei, so I just decided to lead Latios, because if I can kill Crobat turn 1 with a Psyshock, because he doesn't know I'm Scarfed, of course, it'll put me in a very good position. And as we move into the battle, that is exactly what I decided to do. I decided to lead our Latios. We can see that we're challenged by Pokemon Trainer Ham here, and I'm going to lead my Latios. Now, if he leads the Crobat, I'll be in a very good position. Otherwise, I'm going to kind of be in a bad spot, especially if he decides to lead his Florges. I was kind of worried about that, but we do see that he leads Severus, which is his Crobat. So that puts us in a really good position. Now, he doesn't know I'm Choice Scarfed, so I'm just going to click Psyshock, and he goes first with U-turn, which means that he was Scarfed too. Oh man. So something's going to take a Psyshock here, which is going to be his Madame Maxi, which ends up being his Florges. So his Florges with that nice shiny sparkle is going to take a Psyshock from us, and we're going to kind of be able to gauge what kind of set it is, whether it's physically defensive or specially defensive, and that does a lot of damage. So this might be a mixed defensive Florges, but I was still calculating max defense, because that did a lot of damage, but it's also coming from a Latios. So I decided just to switch to my Ozai. Ozai is my switch every time into this thing. It is in range to die from a one-hit kill to an Iron Head at this point. So I could go for an Iron Head here. I'm going to take the Moonblast. I thought he was going to go for Moonblast. I resist it. I do take no damage from it. That's why this thing is my main switch, and every time I get a special attack drop, not special defense. If it was special defense, it'd be terrible, and that's not bad. Now, I was kind of trying to decide what I was going to do here. I thought he was going to switch out, which he does, so I just decided to click Sacred Fire. I didn't think Sacred Fire was going to kill it, but if I could put a burn on it, it does do good damage. Now, he switches in his Miltank, and if his Miltank ended up being Thick Fat, that would have been really bad, but from that damage, it is definitely not a Thick Fat Miltank. And I get the burn, which is great. I can't believe I scored that burn. That is perfect. that actually puts this thing in 2-hit KO range. It's definitely going to be a roll for if I can kill it a second time from my calcs. So I end up going for a second Sacred Fire, and it just barely misses out on the kill. So he ends up getting his Stealth Rocks up. Oh man, I was like, please die to burn damage, please die to burn damage, please die to burn damage. But I remembered that Leftovers cancels out burn damage, so I'm not going to be able to pick up that kill, which is super unfortunate. So I'm going to have to Sacred Fire again. There's really no reason for me not to Sacred Fire again, because if he decides to save his Mill Tank, he can just lose something else, or he can just put a lot of damage down on something else with Sacred Fire. So I'm going to see what he decides to do with his Mill Tank. He ends up setting out his Dudley, which is his Volcanion. Now, being locked into Sacred Fire against Volcanion is definitely not a good idea, so I am just going to decide to switch out into my Purple Ranger here. Purple Ranger is kind of going to be my always switching into Volcanion. If I can get a, I can take Steam Eruptions no problem, and if I can get a Toxic off on this thing, I'll be in a really good position. If I put Volcanion on timer, Volcanion is very threatening to my team, especially with things like Excadrill and Tyranitar there. Volcanion is a scary, scary Pokemon. So I just do go for a Toxic here, and he actually brings in his Florges. So Florges is gonna take that Toxic. It doesn't miss. Woo! It doesn't miss. I've missed so many Toxics on Pokemon Showdown that I have PTSD, but we don't end up missing it this game, which is perfect for us. So I was kind of deciding to decide what I wanted to do. I don't know if I want to kind of get my HP back, or if I want to try and pass a Wish into something else. I am going to just throw up a Protect to kind of see what Florges wants to do. I want to kind of see whether it has the Wish, or whether it has Aromatherapy. And we do actually see the Aromatherapy, so we are going to see it remove that Toxic. So it's very good information to know. I'm kind of getting a good feel of what this Florges set is. We've seen Moonblast, and we've seen Aromatherapy on it. I'm assuming it's a more utility Florges, rather than a Calm Minding set, or anything like that. So I'm just going to switch out and go right into my Ozai. I thought I could pass a Wish into it, but even after Stealth Rocks and another Moonblast, I'm still going to be in a good position. And I just have the ability to put down really good pressure with this thing. I can either go for an Iron Head, a Stone Edge, or a Sacred Fire. Now, I was kind of trying to decide, what is he going to do? Do I just kill the thing that's sitting in front of me, or do I just go for a Stone Edge, assuming that he's going to switch into Volcanion? I decided to kill the thing that's in front of me, and I do KO it with Iron Head. That Banded Iron Head does so much damage, and the Wish is going to go away forever. I was so happy to get rid of Florges. Florges was a Pokemon that I was so worried about. Now, unfortunately, this Volcanion is going to be able to kill me, because now I'm locked into Iron Head, which Volcanion also resists. 2 for 2 on resisted hits with Volcanion. Actually, the Sacred Fire is 4 times resisted. So 4 times resisted hit and a 2 times resisted hit. I'm just going to switch into a Alomola to take another Steam Eruption. I'm not worried about that Steam Eruption. And Entei picked up 2 kills so far this game. Oh man, I love our Entei. I'm so glad that I drafted Entei. Entei is such a good Pokemon. I love my Fire types. I love them. I love my Fire types. Going all the way back to Pokemon the 3rd movie. So we do see him bring in Kingsley, which is this Crobat. I'm just going to set up a Cobalion, which I'm just going to set up a Wish, and I'm going to Protect. I want to get back up to full HP, since I took a lot of damage from this thing, and I thought this thing could Fightinium Z, anything like that. So we do actually see a Rock Polish go off. Now, I do have the Rocky Helmet, so this thing's going to be damaging itself, and I think I can wall it. I'm very tanky. He actually goes for a Sacred Sword, so he doesn't go for close combat. I was actually worried if he does go for close combat, so I can actually wall this thing. I am going to go for a Scald here to try and get a burn on it to kind of counter away that sweet potential. And I do get the burn, which is great. I burned Kingsley. That nerfs the heck out of this thing, unless it has Swords Dance to kind of get rid of its burns. But if it's just a Rock Power sweeping set and it's switching out, tells me that we're going to see it switch into his Serena here. I was forgetting the Serena's name as I set up another Wish. I just kind of want to get my HP back and let the burn do its thing. Now it also gives me ability to Wish pass into something else. I decided to bring the Wish into our Ozai, forgetting that Serena gets access to Knockoff, because I was like, oh man, I can live a Drop Kick, I can live anything this thing goes for, as long as it's not a high jump kick. And I forgot it gets Knockoff, so I'm going to lose my Ozai to its Knockoff. So I ended up sacking Ozai, trying to bring a Wish into it, and that's terrible. So I'm going to go into Vicious here. Vicious was actually going to be my play, but I was so worried about a high jump kick. I can't believe he went for Knockoff when he could have gone for, like, high jump kick there, but I guess he was worried about a Protect. So I do bring Vicious in here just because I thought I was going to go for the Sand, and I'm going to go right back into Purple Ranger because I want to scout out for that high jump kick. So there we see the high jump kick. So he's got it. We know that for sure, that he definitely has high jump kick. So he takes a little bit of recoil damage on that. So I'm going to see probably, I'm expecting a drop kick here. So I was really worried about this. I wasn't sure what I was going to do. I ended up going for protect to kind of scout out what he is deciding to do and what move he goes for. And this time he actually decides to go for a power whip. And I was like, huh, interesting. So it doesn't have drop kick, it has power whip. That gave me very good information there. I wasn't really sure what I was going to do with that information, but it gave me good information, so I decided to switch out into our Han Solo, because I'm expecting him to go for another power whip. And does he go for another pop-up? No, he goes for a Bloom Doom. No, so he was saving his Z move that entire time when with my little mole in there. He didn't go for his Z move before, probably predicting the protect. He's like, oh, he was going to protect this turn, and then I could Bloom Doom the following turn. But my Latios is going to take a Bloom Doom, and that's going to be the second Pokemon that falls to Serena. Oh no. Ugh. That's so bad. I'm so worried about this Serena, if you can't tell, because this Serena is going so bad. I was like, I'm going to switch her to another knockoff. It's going to kill me. Forgetting that Serena had knockoff put me in such a bad position in this match, and I felt so dumb after I forgot it. But this does give me a free switch in to our Siren, which does have Ice Beam and will outspeed this thing. So I am just going to go for an Ice Beam here as he switches into his Volcanion. Now Volcanion is another problem on this team. Now I thought, since aromatherapy is gone, if I can switch into a Lilimola, I can toxic something that's not a Crobat. I'll be in a really good position. If I toxic his Volcanion, or if I toxic his Serena, I'll be putting them on a timer that's going to be putting me in a very, very good position. And that is exactly what I decided to do. So my move here is going to be telegraphed. I am just going to go for that toxic, but he goes for a Sludge Wave on the switch, and that does damage. That does a lot of damage. And I was like, oh my god, that scares me. But I am just going to go for a Wish here because I want to get my HP back. I was super scared about that, and he actually goes for a, oh, I decided to go for a Protect. I thought I was going to go for a Wish there, so I go for a Wish in the next turn, but he does actually decide to switch into his Cobalion, which is weird because this does give me the ability. I know I'm not going to die to that, and he's going to take more damage from the Rocky Helmet than I'm going to take from his hit. So that gives me the ability to Wish and set up my HP. I kind of wanted to see what he wanted to go for, that's why I decided to Protect, but I thought I went for a Wish that turn, just to try and survive his Sludge Wave, because that put me in a super bad position. And he does actually decide to go over to Serena, and I click Toxic! I was so certain he was going to switch, seeing that damage that he did, that I just clicked Toxic against a Steel type that's burned. How many times you click Toxic against a Steel type and have it pay off? This is one of those times, and that puts the Serena on a timer, which is so good. I needed this Serena on a timer so bad, and now I can just click Protect, and I can just try and stall it out. So we'll see him actually switch out. He decides to go for Severus here into his Crobat. Now, I actually calced this, since I can't Protect again, I calced it to see what kind of damage it did, and I found out that Brave Bird, even Choice Banded, which I knew it wasn't, could not KO me. Or non-Choice Banded Brave Bird I knew could not KO me, and then he was going to take Rocky Helmet damage. So that puts me in another good position with this Pokemon, to where I have another Pokemon that a Lilimola can just not be broken through. So Lilimola is my savior on this team. I thought I was going to lose this game, or it was looking like I was going to lose this game, and Lilimola is the only thing that is holding me through as my opponent goes for another Brave Bird. He's going to take the damage from the Rocky Helmet. I can freely Protect on the next turn, as he's taking damage and recoil there. I actually wanted to Toxic that turn rather than Protecting, and the main reason I wanted Toxic there was just in case he decided to switch into Volcanion like he had done in the past. So I am just going to set up another Wish here as he switches into Serena. This will give me the ability to get back up to full HP right here. So I set up that Wish. This will give me the ability to Protect on the following turn, get back up to full HP, and then I thought I can gauge the damage of Power Whip as I set up another Wish. So I can Protect, get to full HP. I don't think a Power Whip's going to kill me. I don't know what kind of set this thing is still, but I know it doesn't have a Bloom Doom. So I figure that I can live a Power Whip and I can go for a Wish this turn. That was what I calced. That's my mindset at this point. So I go for a Wish here, thinking that he's going to get a Power Whip. So he does hit the Power Whip. It lands. That does good damage, but it's not going to KO me, which is exactly what I wanted. He takes Rocky Helmet damage. I'm going to set up a Wish. I can Protect the following turn, and this thing will set up more Toxic damage, which is perfect. It'll definitely die to the next round of Toxic, so I can just Protect here, and I can lose his Bellatrix to Toxic. So he does actually decide to switch out, and bring in his Volcanion. Now I am just going to get my Protect HP up. I can Protect on the following turn if I want to kind of see what this thing goes for, but I have no real reason not to set up another Wish and then go for Toxic. So he's going to do Sludge Wave. That Sludge Wave is going to do good damage to me, but I do actually get the Toxic up first. Then I was going to go for the Wish. I kind of gauged the Toxic damage from before and decided to switch that order. The main reason I switched that order was just because I wanted to put this thing on a timer. I wanted to limit the ability that this thing could stay in my face for. And now I can set up a Wish or just switch out and get the extra HP. So I do decide to switch out, get the extra HP, and go into Vicious here. Because if he's going to go for a Sludge Wave again, I'm going to resist that. I really doubt that this thing's going to go for a Steam Eruption. It's going to go for the kill. Alomomola has been a big pain. I'm kind of baiting him being frustrated at Alomomola here and hoping that he's going to go for another Sludge Wave. So he does go for that Sludge Wave. That does minimal damage since I do resist it. And he is going to get buffered now by the Sandstorm and by the poison damage, and we're going to start to rack up on that. I really didn't want to lose Alomomola because Alomomola with its extra HP, it'll live another Power Whip, and it'll be able to have the Serena die to Toxic, or it can just protect and kill the Serena to Toxic, really. I was really saving that in the back to kill the Serena. And I'm just going to go for Stone Edge here. There's no reason that I shouldn't. I'm going to outspeed this thing because I'm max speed, and I hit it, and I take it out. Boom! Volcanian's off the board. Feeling good here. I'm feeling those sweepy feelings. You ever get those sweepy feelings? I'm feeling the sweepy feelings. But there's still this thing that does outspeed me, and it actually goes for a Leech Life. I was like, oh no, it is Leech Life. I thought I was going to take a U-turn. But it actually took a Leech Life, and I'm going to go for Stone Edge, see if the Stone Edge connects. There's no reason for me not to kill this thing right now, and the Stone Edge does connect, and we take out his Crobat. So Mega Tyranitar picking up a sweet 2 kills without even a Dragon Dance, and now he's going to go into his Kingsley. He's feeding me another hit. I'm going to actually switch into my Volcanion here, or not Volcanion, into my Pooh Bear, which is my Excadrill. Now, even a Burn Sacred Sword was going to kill me. I am 4 times weak to it. But I knew that I could switch into Pooh Bear without it killing me because it was burned. And I didn't want to lose Mega Tyranitar. I wanted to save the differential and go for a 4-0 here. It does actually turn out that he was Shookaberry the entire time, but it doesn't matter because this Earthquake is going to pick up the kill. That's crazy. If this thing had more HP, it still would have killed me even though it was burned. Man, that's a threatening Cobalion. Cobalion scares me. It gives me nightmares. And I lost a little bit of HP, and the Sandstorm subsides. But that's okay because I am going to be faster than Serena every single time. Even if it's got a Jolly Nature, but calculating its damage, I was seriously doubting the fact that it had a Jolly Nature. And I'm just going to go for an Earthquake, which is going to pick up this kill. Even though it's a resisted hit, I didn't want to miss a Rock Slide. And there was really no reason for me to go for an Iron Head because Earthquake does more damage, and we're going to pick up our first win against Hamkiss and the Malmö Mamoswines. I was feeling super good after this game. That was a good game. GG to my opponent. And we were starting the season 1-0. You're Gary Southshore Raikous, picking up the first win of the season. And if you're excited for this season, as I am, make sure to hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe so you never miss another episode of Chase Talks. Until next time, this is Chase, signing off.